Now, over to Duke, okay? Take away the officials. Duke has no one to blame but themselves, all right? This was an utter collapse by the Blue Devils, right? Even you take away and you go back to that dead ball technical when Houston cuts it to 8, right? With 8 minutes to go. You have the ball up 8 with 8 minutes to go. You're the favorite. You're a minus 110 favorite, right? Over 50% implied odds to win the national championship heading into the Final Four. You have the best player in the country in Cooper Flagg, AP Player of the Year, going to be the number 1 overall draft pick, right? You have 3 lottery picks, right? In Malawak, in Flagg, who's going to be number 1, and in Con Knipple, who's going to be right now projected number 6. I think they're all projected in the top 10. And then Tyrese Proctor is also projected in the first round, which is a joke. He's not a first-round pick. Regardless, you have 4 projected first-round picks and the best player in the country. You're up 8 with the ball with 8 minutes to go. There's no excuse. They scored 1 field goal in the last 10 minutes of the game. 1 made shot in the last 10 minutes. And I think a lot of this has to go on Jon Scheyer. And I like Jon Scheyer. I think he's a really good coach. He's a young coach. He's getting better. He's gotten better every year. He's going to continue to get better. I think he's the right guy for the Duke job. He was not good down the stretch. Duke did not run the same good actions that they had all season at that point late in the game. And when things got tight, that was the question about Duke. They had not played in a lot of close games. How do they respond? And I think the focus was on the players in that position. But in reality, Jon Scheyer hadn't coached in a lot of close games. And he coached in one last night. And he was a big reason that the Blue Devils lost. Inability to get the ball in bounds, to draw something up to get the ball in bounds, right? I think they did run the football play one time where they were all out of bounds and able to get it in. Well, on the last possession where they did turn it over, not the last possession, but one of the late possessions when they were up by 3 with the ball and just had to get it in and get fouled and make some free throws, and then they win the game. It was off of a made shot, and they could have run that same thing, and they went to something different, right? So I just don't understand what he was drawing up late to help get them open. Yes, Houston was holding on a lot of those calls, on a lot of those inbounds, right? They think they called Emmanuel Sharp for one of the fouls, and that was it. So Scheyer should have been doing one of 2 things. He either needed to be better drawing something up to get it in, or he should have been on the officials' asses saying, we're getting held on every single play, right? I'm drawing up 4 different things here. We're breaking open, and there are 2 hands on us every time, and you guys haven't called it once. And he did neither of those things. He did not help his guys get open, and he did not get on the officials at all. And it felt like the moment was too big for him. I also hated Duke's offense in that stretch going to Cooper Flagg in the mid-range. And part of this goes to Cooper Flagg more than it does Jon Scheyer. I saw multiple times in the last 8 minutes, really the last 5 minutes of the game, where Cooper Flagg, who was phenomenal for offensively for most of the game, he caught the ball at the 3-point line and had a good look from 3. And he turned it down to attack, and he wasn't going all the way to the rim. He was attacking and settling for mid-range jump shots. In the game, Cooper Flagg was 3 of 4 from 3. He was 1 of 5 on 2-point shots outside the paint. And he continued to go to that same spot. And then I think this is a combination of it being on Cooper and it being on Jon Scheyer here. Last possession, you're down 1. Again, you're the number 1 offense in the country, and you have to score a basket to win and advance to the national championship. You go to Cooper Flagg, no problem with that. However, they go to Flagg against Juwan Roberts, and you settle for a mid-range fadeaway shot. Now, was it a decent look? Yes. But again, it's a spot he had no success in all night long. He was scoring from 3 and getting to the rim and getting fouled. They had just called a touch foul on Houston on an over-the-back on him to give Houston the lead. You have to go to the rim there. To settle for a fadeaway jump shot, you just can't do it in that scenario. And that's a tough shot for anybody, let alone a guy who has not hit from that spot all night, right? Everything was at the rim or from 3. Not saying he should shoot a 3 there, but I just hated settling for that fadeaway jump shot. I also think that Flagg on that possession decided when he got the ball, and Jon Scheyer probably is okay with this. Most Duke fans probably would be too, but that he was going to shoot no matter what. Right? The problem with that is all night long when he was attacking Juwan Roberts, he wasn't driving to just score. He was driving to read the defense. And he had some tremendous passes in that scenario where he was able to attract an extra defender or lull a different defender to sleep and find a cutter, right? That was there in the first half a lot and early in the second half. And I think in that moment, it felt like he had determined that he was going to take the shot, right? I get it. Best player. You want the best player taking the best shot. Again, we go back to he hadn't played in a lot of close games this year. The last close game they had played in, they lost. It was Clemson, right? And they did not score 70. They didn't hit 73, and they lost. Same thing in this game. Did not hit 70. They hit 67 points in this game. Should have been enough. Should have been enough, but it wasn't. And I think part of it goes on Cooper Flagg as well. Obviously, he's phenomenal. He's great. I'm not trying to shit on Cooper Flagg. I'm just breaking down what I think was the reason that Duke lost. And then the last reason, and I think the guy who deserves a lot of the blame, maybe more than anybody else, is Tyrese Proctor. He was horrible in this game. It was the worst game he's played all season. This is a guy who I did not think was very good early in his career. I know a lot of scouts like him, and a lot of people think he's a good player. But this year, he was really good. Best year ever. Obviously, having guys like Con Knipple and Cooper Flagg and, getting to be the third or fourth option offensively, that helps. That makes it easier. But he was shooting 60% from three heading into this game in the NCAA tournament. 67% from the field heading into this game in the NCAA tournament. In this game, he was 2 for 8, 0 for 4 from 3, and 3 for 5 from the free throw line. Okay? He had 7 points. And just struggled all night long. A lot of good looks from 3 did not go, right? And then you go to the last possession when Duke had the lead. The last possession that the Blue Devils had the lead, Houston had stole it on the inbounds when Duke was up 3. Emmanuel Sharp got a steal. They kicked it out, missed a 3. Tugler got a rebound, put it back, cut it to 1. Duke still up 1 with the ball. And they break the pressure and get it across half court to Tyrese Proctor. He has Cooper Flagg wide open on the left side of the floor. Nobody's guarding him. Right? There was one defender kind of splitting Proctor and Flagg, if you go back and look at it. Easy swing to Flagg. He's perfect from the free throw line on the night, and he's 83% on the season. Tyrese Proctor was 50% from the free throw line on the tournament, 67% on the season. And he chose to hold on to the ball in a 1-and-1 scenario so that he would be the one to shoot the free throws instead of swinging it to Cooper Flagg, who was, I believe, 8 for 8 from the free throw line at that point, maybe 9 for 9, and was a better overall free throw shooter his whole career or his whole season. And what happens? Proctor goes to the free throw line and he misses the front end. They call that touch foul, the bad call on Flagg. Juwan Roberts knocks down 2 free throws and they win the game. All right. Credit to Houston, right? And this is coming from a guy who, I'm a Texas kid. I got my Texas hat on. I like Houston. I would love for a Texas team to win the national championship, right? That said, from a relatively unbiased perspective, I thought this was a really unfortunate call on Duke late in the game that really gave Houston the ability to make 2 free throws and go up, because he still had to make 2, and he's not a good free throw shooter, right? And Tyrese Proctor missed and Juwan Roberts made, right? That's the bottom line. But a really, really bad call costing them the game. And then I thought Duke choked really, really badly. And I thought a lot of it was on Shire, Proctor, and late on Flagg, although he was great most of the night. They're nowhere there without Flagg. I didn't like also, and the last point I'll make is I didn't like that Shire really did nothing to get Con Knipple involved in the second half. I mean, he was the best player offensively for Duke in the first half. I think he scored 8 of their first 10. He was awesome. And it felt like he barely touched the ball in the second half. And I did not understand that. They didn't run things to get him open. They didn't try to get him shots. The last, stretch of the last 7 minutes of the game, I think maybe he took 1 shot that whole time. I just thought it was really, really weird that they didn't try to get him involved when you had guys like Mason Gillis taking shots in that stretch. That's just not what you want. You had Tyrese Proctor dribbling the ball off his leg and turning it over and missing shots during that stretch. Guys who weren't playing well in this game. And you had Con Knipple playing great, and he just doesn't touch the ball enough late, in my opinion. But kudos to Houston. Heck of a win. We're in for a great national title either way. Again, if you're new to the channel, make sure to like and subscribe. Comment below. Let me know what you think. Was this the officials? Was Duke hosed? Or is this just more of Duke collapsing? Who's to blame for the Duke loss? And who do you like in the national championship? Can the Florida Gators get it done, or does Houston pull another upset here? I know they're only a short 1-point favorite, but I think most people kind of like Florida in this matchup. So let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys next video.